Hey friend, today's letter is one I never thought I'd share out loud. It's about rejection, it's about shame. It's about the kind of wounds that go so deep they shape how you see yourself. And I wrote these a year ago, and I can tell you that today, as I'm reading this, it just brought some emotions. But I also realized something that I want to share with you, and I'm going to call this a huge milestone. I didn't see it from a place of shame, I didn't see it from a place of rejection. I saw it with so much compassion. And that, to me, is a win. But enough of me. I just want to share this with you. This is an open letter to the woman who's tired of rejection and shame. Welcome back to Real with Melanie, the podcast for women navigating faith, mental health, and their journey to wholeness in Christ. Today's letter is for the woman who spent a lifetime bracing for rejection before it even happens. If you ever believed the door closing meant something was wrong with you, this is for you. This is an open letter to the woman who's tired of rejection and shame. Dear you, the woman who spent a lifetime wondering what's wrong with her. You don't even flinch anymore when the door closes. You expect it. You've trained yourself not to get your hopes up, not in friendships, not in love, not in anything. Because rejection isn't just something you've experienced, it's something you learn to live with. You've been rejected in many ways that you don't even talk about. By people you were supposed to trust, by family who never fully accepted you, by leaders who labeled you by your past, by people who smiled to your face but never saw your worth behind closed doors. And whether it was subtle or spoken, the message was always the same. You're too much. You're not enough. You don't belong here. And over time, you started to believe them. You built a life around avoiding rejection. You learned how to shrink, how to play it safe, how to say the right thing and smile through the ache. And somewhere along the way, the fear of rejection became louder than the call of God. But here's the thing, you were never the problem. Their silence was not proof of your insignificance. Their shame was not a mirror for your worth. Their fear, their control, their inability to see your beauty, none of that was about you. That was never about you. But because it started so young, you thought love came with conditions. You thought acceptance was something to be earned. You thought if you would just be better, you'd finally be chosen. But let me speak this into your soul today. You were already chosen. You were already loved. And nothing about you needs to be edited to be accepted. I know you've forgiven people who never said sorry. I know you tried to stay soft in a world that keeps trying to harden you. And I know you're still believing for healing in places that feel impossibly broken. You don't want revenge. You want release. You want to be free of the way those moments still live inside of your body. It still haunts your confidence. It still filters your decisions. You want to speak boldly, but that voice in your head still says, what if they reject you again? So instead of shining, you shrink. Instead of risking, you retreat. Instead of stepping out, you stay stuck. Because rejection didn't just hurt you, it shaped you. I used to think being good enough was something I had to keep earning over and over, proving it in every room I walked into. It took me a long time to understand what the gospel actually says about that. I wrote a whole lesson on it in Kingdom Happily Ever After called How the Gospel Redefines Good Enough, because the goalpost was never supposed to move like that. Grace doesn't ask you to earn your way back in. But today, the story ends here, because the truth is this. Rejection was never a verdict of who you are. It was a signpost pointing you back towards who you were before the world tried talking you out of it. It's the tool the enemy used to keep you small, but God is about to use it and build your voice. You were never supposed to belong in those places. You were never meant to keep proving your value to people who couldn't see it. You were never called to fit in. You were called to be set apart. That doesn't make your pain disappear. It just means you don't have to carry that shame anymore. You don't have to keep apologizing for the way you were born. You don't have to edit your story to make others comfortable. You don't have to keep performing for love that was never meant to last. You are enough, even if they never come back. even if the apology never comes, even if the reconciliation never happens, because your identity is not rooted in their approval. It's rooted in the one who knew you by name before you were formed. And he's never turned away, not once. Not when others shut you out, not when you doubted yourself, not even when shame wrapped itself around you like a second skin. You've walked through life with a limp from all the places you were dropped. But the fact that you're still here, still breathing, still believing in healing, that's proof that God is not done with your story. Rejection may have been your introduction, but it will not be your conclusion. So today, give yourself permission to let go of the fear, to grieve what never was, to stop waiting to be picked, to start walking in wholeness. You were never rejected by heaven. You were always seen, always loved, always enough. And now you walk in truth, not in shame, not in fear, not in rejection, just grace and freedom and wholeness. And friend, if you walk through all these 6 letters with me, from mourning from what could have been, all the way to finally being tired of rejection and shame, I want you to know something before we close this chapter. You are not the same woman who started this series 6 weeks ago. Healing was never about becoming someone new. It was about finally becoming who you already are underneath from everything that tried to convince you otherwise. With deep compassion and bold hope. Melanie, your focus bestie. If this letter brought you to tears or made you whisper, "Me too," underneath your breath, I want you to know this. You are not alone. You were not a mistake. And the places that tried to bury you, God is using them to build you. You have permission to start over as many times as it takes. So here's what I want you to carry on with this week. Where in your life are you still shrinking to avoid being rejected again? If you don't know where to start untangling that, that's exactly what My Path Method is for. It's a free 5-day faith and focus experience. You can find it on mypathtoWholeness.com/mypathmethod. And if this letter met you somewhere real today, DM me on Instagram and let me know at Miss Melanie Reyes. And of course, if this whole series stirs something in you that needs more than just a few minutes to heal, Kingdom Happily Ever After was written exactly for this. It is 20 lessons walking you through the shame, rejection, and identity in Christ, one lesson at a time. You can find it at kingdomhappilyeverafter.com. And if these letters help you in any way, would you please leave a review? It helps another woman who feels just like you find this show. And if you know someone who needs to hear this today, share this episode with her. That's how we break shame cycles together. And remember, new episodes drop every Monday. I'll see you next week.